GTA 6 is 100% confirmed for May 26th, which is great because there is a bit of a scare of another delay, and I'm incredibly thankful that that looks to be not the case now. So May 26th, it is right around the corner. Now, in this long wait that we've all been going through for GTA 6, there's been all of these speculation videos and news videos and a bunch of clickbait. And for me, that personally kind of sucks because it's like, you know, as fun as it is to watch some of that stuff, I kind of like the more grounded videos that, and maybe even just straight up speculation videos that go into potential features that a game might have when I'm looking forward to it. But the hype is just so real for GTA 6 that people can't help themselves with some pretty outlandish stuff, especially around the map. But you know what? I think the community has done a pretty dang good job coming up with an idea of what the map is really going to be. But with that said, today I'm going to bring you 10 insane things we are nearly guaranteed to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. So I'm going to start off with a bit of a weird one that I haven't seen anyone talk about, and that is tactical gameplay. So what do I mean by tactical gameplay? Well, if you look at this clip right here in the GTA 6 trailers, you'll see we're in first person here. It looks like we've got kind of a body cam thing going on. It almost feels like Ready or Not. And I'm 99% certain that Grand Theft Auto 6, there's a big thing that they have not yet revealed to us. Like, yes, we know we have two characters. We have Jason and Laura.
Laura, dame la fuerza para luchar.
Yes, Lucia, but I think that there's maybe even a third character or just something big that we haven't seen. And we know Rockstar likes to do that, kind of like how they dropped the 3 protagonist thing on us in Grand Theft Auto 5 shortly before release. So I'm curious, and it's looking like there's going to be a way to maybe play from the police perspective in maybe sort of like a tactical Ready or Not style way. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out or look, but I think that would be really interesting to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. We know you're going to be able to go into first person, so maybe those first person controls are going to handle much more like a tactical shooter. I think they are going all out with the features on this game, guys, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that in first person, the game handles much, much better and maybe even has some of those aspects and mechanics of a tactical shooter. And first person handles better than we've ever seen it in a Rockstar title, and maybe even in most first person titles. And with the $2 billion budget, again, nothing is off the table here. I think it's safe to speculate pretty wildly at this point with the budget and hours that have gone into this game. So I know that's kind of a weird one, but this next one, we're guaranteed to see something. So we are going to see some elements involving outer space. That we know. So in Florida, there's the Kennedy Space Center, and the rockets launch from there. Sure, ground controls in Houston, but the actual rockets launch from Florida. Well, the game takes place in Leonida, Rockstar's version of Florida. So there's going to be a space program in the game. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be like launching into space with rockets or something like that. Maybe that'll come in Grand Theft Auto Online, but based on stuff found in the code and some keywords, which I have a video covering, there is something space related in this game. And there's even some bits in the source code that point to how bodies react in unnatural environments, such as zero gravity. Now, what I really think this is you could see Jason playing video games and stuff during the trailer. I think we're going to have a Republican Space Rangers game, and then it's going to be kind of like a Halo knockoff or something. I think that that's really what that's going to be. But I could be wrong. There could be a legitimate mission to where you are in outer space. I don't know what it is, but maybe Jason takes something or Lucia takes something and we end up in some sort of altered no gravity environment. But we do know based off of the keywords found in the data that there is going to be something space related. So whatever that is, I don't know. If you have some ideas of what that is, let me know. But I think we've covered that enough. Let's move on to this next one. And this one, I'm 100% certain we're going to see. We're going to see time jumps like Red Dead Redemption 2 and map changes over time. So in Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, as time goes on, Arthur's writing in his journal, and, you know, as the campsite moves, time goes on. There's almost different seasons, even though it's kind of illustrated by the biome that you're in. As you move around the map and you're experiencing these new biomes, it's supposed to be like the seasons are changing, you know? And as you play the game, buildings will be completed. There's a group who's, you know, working on chopping down a bunch of wood and stuff like that, and you can help them out, save a guy who has a tree fall on him, you know, yada yada. But eventually they clear on out. There's places in Valentine that get built up. We're going to see buildings be built and completed over the time in Grand Theft Auto 6, and not a freaking tower that never gets completed like Grand Theft Auto 5. That drove me nuts. So yeah, I think that's really cool, because what we're going to see in this game is we're probably going to see Jason and Lucy on the run, or at least moving around for some reason. They're going to be moving, going to different locations, and that is going to allow the map to kind of change over time. And when you revisit locations later in the game, they might not be exactly the way you remember them, because time will have gone on. That's something Rockstar has been trying to do for a while, and it's really cool to see how they implement it in Red Dead Redemption 2. And that game came out in 2018, and here we are in 2025. So just be prepared for for something absolutely crazy. And something else that's really cool I think we're going to see is this next thing, emergent storytelling through encounters. So what do I mean by that? Well, in Red Dead Redemption 2, when you're walking around, you'll have strangers, random people come up to you, and just all hell kind of breaks loose, or just something weird happens, and you kind of go off the beaten path, and before you know it, you haven't actually played any of the story missions. You haven't done anything story related, but you've lived in this world and you've gone on an adventure and stuff's happened. Todd Howard was really big on this with the release of Skyrim, with stuff like Radiant Quests and all that. That ultimately turned into glorified fetch quests in Skyrim, go get my ring from this cave and we'll spawn some bandits there. But Rockstar, through these random encounters, kind of pushes the player around like a ping pong ball throughout their map and their world, and you kind of get to experience your own story. I remember in Red Dead Redemption 2, I got wanted and I had no money to pay off my bounty, and it turned into a multi-day long manhunt and having to find treasure in a cave to then pay off my bounty. That is an example of emergent storytelling, when unpredictable things happen to you and you have to deal with it and you kind of have your own little personal story. So based off technology and the money and the resources and everything going into this game and what we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it being almost 10 years after Red Dead Redemption 2 that this game is going to come out, I really think we're going to see some absolutely insane stuff pop up that's going to take us off the beaten path for hours and hours and hours. And it takes place in Florida, Leonida. Get ready for the Leonida man, Florida man, stranger missions, random encounters. It's going to be nuts. And I'm pretty sure that's what we're seeing here in these trailers with these random Florida people, is some of those events. And speaking of story, this next thing I think we'll see are decisions that shape the story. So Grand Theft Auto 4 kind of had some cool moments to where you could decide the fate of a few characters. Now, it didn't really change the story, except for one big decision at the very end of the game that decided who lived and who died. I think in Grand Theft Auto 6, we're going to see a lot more of these kinds of choices that maybe ultimately end up changing the plot by the end of it. It's possible that we're going to have decisions we make early on in the game that impact the very end of the game. Kind of like Mass Effect, if you've ever played it. And that might result in one of our two leads that we've seen either live or die. So be prepared for that, because while Rockstar has always been kind of limited on how they handle this or what they do, like in Red Dead Redemption, you could go high honor Arthur or low honor Arthur. This game is very much going to be its own thing, with two characters on the run, with things changing over time. So it's almost guaranteed that we're going to see some form of this. Something else, moving on to our next feature, something else that we are guaranteed to pretty much see that we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2 is a weight mechanic. So in Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur can eat a bunch of food and gain a bunch of weight. It's hard to do. I mean, you really have to focus on having him gain weight, but he can gain a bunch of weight or he can get really skinny. Based on the little bit we've seen and based on what players miss from San Andreas, I am almost 100% certain that we are going to see a weight mechanic for Jason. He looks like he's heavier and then skinnier in some different shots of the trailers, and there appears to be a weightlifting mechanic. So I think that is coming back. I think we're going to be able to have skinny, bony Jason, super shredded Jason. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get chubby, all that stuff. And I think Lucia is going to have those same mechanics. So, which will be very interesting since she will be the first woman protagonist in a Grand Theft Auto game. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Maybe there will be like fitness classes or something that she likes to do that Jason doesn't. We do know that she likes to box. That'll be something in the game that we'll be doing as Lucia. Boxing, maybe doing these boxing matches, going to a gym, which even opens up the possibility of learning different fighting styles. Or at the very least, Jason having some sort of military style, fighting style, and Lucia having a boxing fighting style. Next is pretty obvious to everyone, but supernatural elements. I mean, come on, it's a Rockstar game. If you played Red Dead Redemption 2, you know how it is. I mean, you've got UFOs, you've got ghost trains, you got vampires, you got the serial killer house. In Red Dead Redemption 1, you got the strange man, and there's other stuff in that one too. And Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, we had the ghost car, and then there was the whole Bigfoot thing, and Grand Theft Auto 5 had some grand conspiracy thing on Mount Chiliad that ultimately led to nothing, or at least no one has cracked the code of what it is yet. Personally, I think it was DLC that they were intending to add into the single player game, but they ultimately dropped it to support online. So whatever that thing was, no one's figured it out. It hasn't happened. But we're in Florida, Leonida. We're going to see some crazy, witchy maybe stuff out in the boonies. So be prepared to see some really creepy stuff and be excited. Rockstar's always been really good about making their worlds big and creepy and mysterious. So I'm really excited to see what they do. I mean, they've done the pretty obvious one, like aliens and ghosts and all that. They're going to probably do something pretty damn creepy though. So just be prepared for that. Moving on to this next one. This one is the one I'm the least certain about on this list, but I think it's very likely we're going to finally see this because people have been asking Rockstar to do this for freaking ever, and that is a fuel system. So it's looking like you're going to be able to pull up to a convenience store, top off your gas tank, whatever, and and I think this might be a toggleable option that you're able to turn off and on, similar to how Mafia allows you to turn on simulation driving and turn it off. I think we're going to see something like that with maybe a fuel system. At the very least, I think we're going to see something like a fuel system that is baked into the game, and maybe you can't turn it off or on, but it's not really a nuisance because the fuel lasts forever. But it just gives you the opportunity to pull over and get gas every now and again. And with that, I think you're also going to be able to go into the convenience store. Imagine pulling over, you're getting gas, you can go into the convenience store, very similar to how it works in Red Dead Redemption 2, where you can go in and pick up the items and purchase them. You can go into the convenience store and do that as well. So maybe we'll see Jason doing a beer run late at night and some sort of stranger mission happens and chaos ensues, and before you know it, you've played for many hours and haven't done a single story mission. That's the kind of stuff I'm pretty certain we're going to see in this game. You're going to get sucked in and wrapped up in the world that they've created, and a bunch of crazy nonsense is going to happen. For this next one, I think you're going to be able to play this entire game as one character and one character only. So yeah, we know we're going to be able to play as Lucia. I'm pretty certain you're going to be able to play every single mission as Jason and every single mission, if you want, as Lucia, and probably go back and forth between the two whenever you want, or maybe even choose at the very start which one you're going to play. Because it's looking like at the very end there's going to be some sort of betrayal decision. One of them rats on each other, one of them dies, and I think the best way that you could possibly do that is having the character lock one of the other players, but allowing them to still see the perspective of the other. So it'll probably shape up to be you could play the entire game as Jason if you want, or you could play the entire game as Lucia if you want, or you can ping pong back and forth between the two, which will be incredibly cool because one of the biggest weaknesses of Grand Theft Auto 5 was forcing you to switch between 3 different characters, and it didn't really give you the time to be in their shoes long enough to really get to know these people. And maybe there's a character you didn't like and you were stuck playing as them and you hated it. Well, I think they've learned from their mistakes. I don't think we're going to see that. Next is multiple cities. So I don't know why people seem so like, oh my gosh, is there going to be multiple cities? Is there not? Of course there is. It's Grand Theft Auto 6. We're going to have Vice City. We're going to have a bunch of other stuff. We're going to have small towns. As far as a full-blown city, I'm not quite sure about that, but I think we are going to have a smaller city. I think Vice City for sure is going to be massive, absolutely huge. And then the other cities will be, maybe half the size, maybe a quarter the size, but still another city to go and explore. There will be airports and you'll be able to fly to these different cities. A lot of this game is going to be a road trip, I think, where you're moving around the map, very similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. And I think that's when Rockstar is at its strongest, because that's how they did it for San Andreas as well, and made the map feel freaking huge. You're constantly being pushed around it. And the big weakness with Grand Theft Auto 5 is, as big as the map is, people say it feels empty. And the reason they say it's empty is because, well, a lot of it's wilderness and nothing. No, I hard disagree. Grand Theft Auto 5 had a giant map that was totally capable of delivering that same experience. The reason it didn't is you're just ping-ponging around everywhere. You're all over the place. The story didn't stay contained to one location and move to another and move to another and move to another. There's a city at the very top left corner of Grand Theft Auto 5's map, and you'll never go there. Maybe you go there for one mission and that's about it. But something it should have done that San Andreas did is have you go and stay in that location for, a set amount of time. You're doing some missions around there and then you move on. Grand Theft Auto 4 did the same thing. So that's why 5 felt so small and didn't feel very immersive. You're all over the place. Rockstar is at its best when part of the map's locked off and it opens up to you and you move there. That's what creates the adventure, the journey. You are moving locations physically, and then you are there for a while before you progress to the next. And not only were you going to see that with how the map opens up to you in this game, but we are also going to see that with how time jumps. So, you move to a new location and new things are happening. You're in this location, you're doing missions, you move to the next, you move to the next. And by the time you go back and revisit the old one, well, time's changed and new buildings have been built, new things are going on, which will be really cool. It'll be kind of similar to like at the very end of San Andreas, where you go back to Los Santos. All right, I know this is a top 10 list, but I went on ahead and did an 11th. It's just 11's not as sexy as a number as 10, but let's just state the obvious. We're going to have hurricanes in this game. They're coming. So be prepared for that. It's going to be really cool. Hurricanes are something I've always wanted to see in the original Vice City, and I'm super excited to see it. We're going to have weather events. Now, whether it's a part of the world itself or if it's narratively tied, I'm not sure. I do think it is going to be both. I think we're going to have some big hurricane event in the story, that's happening during the action and all that kind of stuff. So something really cool like that. But I do think we are also going to see hurricanes come and go, or at least very violent tropical storms as the game goes on. So be prepared for some crazy weather elements, because we are definitely going to see them in this game. And I cannot wait to get on a boat, go out in the middle of the ocean in a hurricane, and just let all hell break loose. This game is going to allow for so many cool things that you've never been able to do in a previous Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto game, Red Dead Redemption. So just be ready to do some absolute crazy nonsense. But anyways, guys, that's my list. I wanted to keep it pretty grounded, like I said. What do you think we are going to see in Grand Theft Auto 6? What do you want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6? Please let me know down in the comments. Also, what's your favorite Grand Theft Auto game? My name is Dandy Andy. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. And lately it's been Grand Theft Auto 6. I didn't even think I could touch Grand Theft Auto 6 because of the saturation. Turns out I was wrong. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, please. It would help help me out tremendously. Or if you want more videos like this, or if you like the other stuff on my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Join me on this crazy journey, man. I'm going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. With that out of the way, here are 2 videos. I'm not sure what they are. They could be Hitman level reviews. They could be something else entirely, but it'll be something that you enjoy. So please click on one of these. If not, if this is where we part ways, have a great rest of your day, week, night, year, whatever. Just stay safe out there. Peace.